Imagine looking your brand new husband dead in the eye at a crowded dinner table, completely surrounded by strangers, and just calmly announcing that during your entire honeymoon, you were literally counting the minutes until you could escape his physical presence.
I mean, it was a masterclass in human dysfunction, just a complete and utter shredding of the entire social contract.
Babes, welcome back. We love you. We see you. And honestly, nothing makes you feel simultaneously sophisticated and, like, violently financially attacked, quite like being invited to an adult dinner party.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I have my Blackberry Prosecco Spritz right here, and I am raising my class to all of you in the Snark Squad for surviving another brutal work week. Cheers, bestie.
Cheers. And speaking of being financially attacked by dinner parties, we absolutely have to talk about Sarah's dinner party this past weekend before we get into anything else, because I am still unwell.
I am spiraling. Snark Squad, picture this. We get invited to our friend Sarah's house. I'm expecting, a nice normal bowl of pasta, maybe some Trader Joe's wine, a little charcuterie board where the cheese is already pre-sliced.
Just normal mid-30s socializing.
Right, like maybe some crackers out of a box.
Yeah.
But we walk in, and there is a literal man in her kitchen wearing a crisp white chef's coat.
Huh?
And he is holding tweezers.
Tweezers.
He was painstakingly placing individual microgreens onto a scallop.
She hired a private chef for a casual Saturday.
Unbelievable.
There were candles everywhere, a curated jazz playlist, multiple courses. I mean, the food looked like it belonged on a prestige Netflix cooking documentary. I was eating these truffle potatoes that probably cost more than my first car. And I just sat there, chewing incredibly slowly, looking at you across the table, just telepathically screaming, "Babes, how are normal people affording private chefs?" I was literally calculating her overhead the entire time. It was this intense, wealthy adult energy that completely threw me off guard. Like, is this true adulthood now? Have we missed a memo? Or is Sarah just living in a completely different, untouchable tax bracket?
It has to be a tax bracket thing. I mean, or some hidden generational wealth she just never told us about. Because it sent me into an absolute spiral about our careers. We are literally healthcare professionals.
Allegedly.
We are dentists. We went to school for a million years.
And yet we are definitely not hiring private chefs to tweeze microgreens on a random Saturday.
No. It's the ultimate dentist delusion.
Yeah.
There are these fleeting moments where I feel like a highly competent, respected medical professional, right? Like I'm looking at a complex panoramic x-ray, diagnosing a hidden abscess, saving a tooth. I feel like a superhero.
Oh, totally.
And then literally 10 minutes later, you're basically doing customer service with power tools while someone complains that the paper bib is too crinkly.
Too crinkly. The juxtaposition is so jarring. I mean, I had a patient this week yell at me because I told him he actually has to floss between the teeth, not just like aggressively rub the string on his gums. He looked at me like I was trying to scam him.
No.
Meanwhile, I'm just standing there holding a suction tube, fantasizing about opening a luxury dental clinic with a full-service spa attached. Imagine getting a root canal and then immediately getting a hot stone massage.
Wait, I would actually invest in that? That is brilliant. But the real delusion is believing that dentists ever achieve actual work-life balance. We are hunched over all day, our spines are literally forming the shape of a C, and we go home too exhausted to even boil water, let alone hire a chef.
True. But before we dive into the total chaos of the reality TV couples who clearly have even less work-life balance than we do, we have to give the Snark Squad their weekend horoscope. We need to align the stars before we judge the mortals.
Yes. Let's do it. Quick and dirty for all 12 signs. I'll take the first half. Aries, your weekend vibe is absolute chaos, per usual. Your love prediction, you're going to get a text from an ex, and you will respond with a meme.
Don't do it, Aries.
Do not do it. Your social life warning is to avoid group chats after midnight. Your lucky drink is an espresso martini, and your manifestation for the next 48 hours is, I will not start an argument just because I am bored.
They will absolutely start the argument.
Oh, 100%. Okay, Taurus. Your vibe is unbothered luxury. Your love prediction is that someone is going to offer to pay for your dinner, let them. Social warning, do not cancel plans just because your couch looks soft. You need vitamin D.
Get outside, Taurus.
Lucky snack is a wildly expensive imported cheese. Manifestation, I am open to receiving good things without feeling suspicious.
Okay, Gemini, your vibe is chaotic intellectual. Love prediction, you will flirt with someone entirely inappropriate, like your barista or, I don't know, a ghost.
A ghost.
Social warning, you are going to double book yourself and have to lie to get out of one. Lucky drink is a spicy margarita. Manifestation, I will finish one single task before starting 3 new ones. Good luck with that.
Never gonna happen. Cancer. Vibe is deeply emotional and aggressively cozy. Love prediction, you're gonna cry over a commercial and your partner's gonna look at you like you're an alien. Social warning, do not take your friend's weird text tone personally. They are just busy.
They're just busy.
Lucky drink is chamomile tea with a heavy splash of whiskey. Manifestation, I am not responsible for regulating everyone else's emotions.
Leo, vibe is main character syndrome, obviously. Love prediction, you will demand attention, and shockingly, you will get it. Social warning, let someone else speak for at least 5 minutes at the dinner party. Just 5 minutes.
Just try it.
Lucky drink is champagne. Manifestation, my worth is not determined by how many people like my Instagram story.
Ouch. Virgo, vibe is aggressive organization. Love prediction, you will try to fix your partner's life instead of just kissing them. Stop that. Social warning, do not reorganize your host's kitchen cabinets at the party.
Leave the cabinets alone.
Lucky drink is a perfectly balanced gin and tonic. Manifestation, I embrace the beautiful messiness of human imperfection.
Libra, vibe is indecisive flirting. Love prediction, you will lead 3 people on simultaneously without even realizing it. Social warning, make a decision about where to eat before 9 p.m.
Please, we are starving.
Lucky drink is a rosé. Manifestation, I am allowed to have a strong opinion even if it makes someone else mildly uncomfortable.
Scorpio, vibe is plotting and scheming in the shadows. Love prediction, you will stalk someone's Venmo transactions to figure out if they're single.
We've all been there.
We really have. Social warning, stop analyzing your friend's body language. Sometimes a sigh is literally just a sigh. Lucky drink is a dark, moody stout. Manifestation, I release the need to know everybody's darkest secrets.
Sagittarius, vibe is flight risk. Love prediction, you will suggest moving to a brand new city instead of having a hard conversation.
Classic.
Social warning, do not promise to attend a destination wedding you literally cannot afford. Lucky drink is a tequila shot. Manifestation, I can find adventure right where I am.
Capricorn, vibe is spreadsheet supremacy. Love prediction, you will schedule intimacy on a shared Google Calendar.
Which is incredibly efficient.
You'd say that. Social warning, networking is not the same thing as hanging out with friends. Lucky drink is a scotch on the rocks. Manifestation, I am valuable, even when I am not being productive.
Aquarius, vibe is alien observer. Love prediction, you will bond with someone over a wildly niche documentary about, like, underground fungi. Social warning, remember to ask people about their human feelings, not just their opinions on the simulation theory.
So important.
Lucky drink is an electric blue cocktail that looks like Windex. Manifestation, I am safe to connect with the weirdness of others.
And finally, Pisces. Vibe is romantic delusion. Love prediction, you will create an entire fictional future with a stranger you made eye contact with at a traffic light. Social warning, do not absorb your friend's bad mood like a sponge.
Protect your peace.
Lucky drink is anything with a tiny umbrella in it. Manifestation, I ground my beautiful dreams in actual solid reality.
Consider the stars perfectly aligned. Now, highs and lows of the work week. Before we get into the heavy relationship trauma, what was your high?
Oh my gosh, funniest patient interaction, hands down. So I had a guy come in for a routine cleaning, and we had to give him a tiny bit of laughing gas just because he was super anxious.
Sure, pretty standard.
Right. Tell me why this grown man, the exact second the nitrous hits, looks me dead in the eyes and starts trying to do a tight 5-minute stand-up comedy routine.
No!
Yes. He literally thought laughing gas meant the gas physically required him to tell jokes. He was slurring punchlines about airline food while I was actively trying to scale his molars. It genuinely made me laugh so hard I had to step out of the room.
That is incredible. A captive audience for his tight 5. You couldn't even escape.
I couldn't. What was your high?
My high was finally getting a perfect impression on a highly gag-reflexive patient on the very first try. It literally felt like winning a gold medal.
Oh, that is the best feeling.
But my love, oh, babe, the most exhausting day. I had a patient who, in the middle of a filling, decided he didn't like the angle of the overhead light, reached up, grabbed the light, and completely ripped the armature out of the ceiling track.
Shut up.
I am dead serious. Wires exposed, sparks flying, a literal electrical hazard in the operatory. I just stood there holding a high-speed drill, seriously considering packing a bag and moving to a goat farm in Vermont.
Oh my God. The moments that test our patients, it really does just feel like customer service with power tools. But babes, enough about private chefs, dentist delusions, and our ongoing attempt to become sophisticated adults.
Whoa!
Let's get into Married at First Sight, where these couples are trying to build lifelong partnerships while we're still recovering from Sarah's truffle potatoes.
It is time for the dinner party from hell. Season 20, Episode 7. Let's just set the psychological landscape of this accelerated marriage experiment first, because the couples at this table don't even realize they are the lab rats.
Exactly. They are sitting there, interacting, fighting, flirting, completely unaware that the relationship experts, Paul and Dr. Lisa, are watching their every single move through a two-way mirror. We are basically looking at all the fan reactions at everything to unpack this. We aren't just recapping the drama, we are decoding the absolute psychological warfare happening over the breadbaskets.
Let's start with the couple that, at least on the surface, seems to be having the most fun. The absolute illusion of good vibes. Adam and Marissa.
Okay, we have to talk about the visual here first because it is comedic gold. Adam arrives at this formal dinner party in a ridiculous, flashy, highly patterned floral romper. It's like a short suit situation.
Just a bold choice.
He's wearing a hat adorned with literal bird feathers. But the absolute best part, which the camera operators beautifully zoomed in on, is that the fiscal price tags are still hanging off his clothes.
Like Mini Pearl. It's a statement piece, but the statement is, I have no idea what I'm doing and I might return this tomorrow.
Totally. And before they even get to the dinner, we see them at their shared apartment.
Yeah.
Adam is cooking tomato soup and grilled cheese for Marissa, and he's serving her, telling her to just sit and look pretty. Which, cute. He claims he has wanted to be married since he was 18 years old. So you're thinking, okay, this guy is committed.
Why you think he's ready?
But then they get to the table. And when the other couples who are visibly going through the ringer ask them about their 5-year plan or how they handle deep issues, they just stare blankly.
They openly admit they haven't had a single serious conversation. Marissa says they just prefer to laugh. Adam says they are just vibing through the process.
Which I kind of get. I mean, they've only known each other for 2.5 weeks. Isn't it normal to just vibe and have fun in the honeymoon phase? Why is the rest of the table looking at them like they just committed a crime?
Well, because you are looking at it through the lens of traditional dating, where the stakes are low and time is basically infinite, but the environment alters the psychology here. This is an accelerated pressure cooker experiment. They legally bypassed the dating phase and went straight to a legally binding marriage.
Right, there's a literal clock.
Exactly. The clock is ticking toward decision day. In this specific scenario, avoiding difficult topics is a profound form of self-sabotage.
So you're saying vibing is a luxury they literally can't afford.
Exactly. If you spend the entire 8 weeks just eating grilled cheese and laughing, you guarantee failure when real life hits. Because real life isn't a jet ski montage. Real life is merging finances, dealing with in-laws, resolving conflict, scheduling things on a calendar. By protecting the vibes, they are actively refusing to build the load-bearing walls required for a marriage to actually survive.
It's like building a house out of cotton candy and just praying it doesn't rain. And let's look at Adam's outfit through that psychological lens. People online were pointing out that Adam is a massive attention seeker. He lives in what looks like a literal shed but calls it a lakefront property. He is deeply performative.
That floral romper is the perfect metaphor. It's a misdirection tactic. When you command a room visually, you dictate the terms of engagement. He makes himself into a cartoon character, a complete spectacle.
Yeah.
And when you are a spectacle, people just look at the surface. They don't expect emotional depth from the guy in the feathered hat with the tags still on. The experts behind the glass flagged this immediately. Paul noted that Adam leads with his things and his humor. It's a shield.
Yes. It's like a squid shooting ink. The floral romper is the ink. It distracts everyone so he can swim away before anyone asks him how he actually plans to provide for a family while living in a shed.
I love the squidding analogy. But the real casualty here is Marissa. Let's analyze her go-with-the-flow attitude for a second. On the surface, she seems like the easygoing, perfect partner, right? But extreme agreeableness, where you accept absolute superficiality over building a real foundation, can often be a trauma response.
Wait, unpack that for me. How is being agreeable a trauma response? Because I feel like I'm pretty agreeable. Am I traumatized?
Well, there's a difference between being polite and being a people pleaser to the point of complete self-erasure. In psychology, the fawning response is a recognized trauma reaction, right alongside fight, flight, or freeze.
Fawning, okay.
Yeah. If someone has a history of conflict leading to abandonment or intense emotional pain, their brain learns that rocking the boat is dangerous. So they become highly agreeable to neutralize any potential threat. Marissa avoids asking hard questions because she is terrified of the answers.
Because if she asks about the shed or his credit score, it might start a fight, and a fight might end the relationship.
Precisely. She accepts the vibes to maintain a false sense of harmony, But there is an immense danger in letting your partner dictate the entire reality of the relationship. It creates a dynamic where she is basically just a passenger. She is suppressing her own needs to keep the peace, and eventually the resentment is going to build, and that car is going to run completely out of gas.
It is wild to watch them just sit there deflecting while everyone else at the table is completely entrenched in verbal warfare. Which brings us to the couple that was honestly the hardest to watch. Courtney and Nick. Babes, this was an absolute massacre.
It was incredibly uncomfortable. Let's just set the stage with what happened right before they got to the dinner party.
Okay, they're getting ready in their bathroom. Nick is trying to have a very normal baseline conversation. He asks Courtney about her past relationships, trying to understand her history with intimacy. Courtney gets so instantly dysregulated by this question that she literally burns her own synthetic hair with a curling iron.
It was crazy.
We hear the sizzle. Smoke is physically rising from her head.
It is a profound physical manifestation of her internal anxiety. We talk about the mind-body connection. Her sympathetic nervous system was so hijacked by panic that she literally lost her fine motor control.
She admits to him that she was cheated on in a past relationship and that she's just a slow burn when it comes to intimacy. But then they get to the dinner, and it gets so dark. Courtney walks in holding Nick's hand, explicitly tells the camera she's only doing it to make the experts happy, and then drops his hand like it's on fire the absolute second they sit down.
And that was literally just the appetizer.
Then she publicly humiliates him, unprovoked. She tells the entire table that when Nick tried to simply cuddle her on their honeymoon, she was staring at her watch, wishing she could escape, thinking, is it 6 a.m. yet? I want to get the F out of here. She is sitting right next to him as she says this to strangers.
It's verbal abuse. There's just no other way to categorize it.
And she didn't stop there. When Nick tries to gracefully redirect the conversation to Adam and Marissa, Courtney interrupts him to openly declare that Adam, the guy in the tags-on romper, is the hottest guy in the group. Right to Nick's face. And then she does this terrible backtracking like, oh, but you're the hottest to me because you're my husband.
It was a brutal, brutal sequence.
But I want to talk about Nick's reaction, because Nick just laughs it off. He claims to the table that he doesn't feel rejected. Later, in the car ride home, Courtney complains about his car, a Jetta, by the way, and accuses him of purposely stepping on her foot when opening the door.
Delusional.
Completely. She claims Nick lacks confidence because women usually just throw themselves at him, and Nick just keeps smiling and taking it.
Right.
What is happening psychologically here? Why is Courtney so incredibly cruel?
It's a textbook case of extreme projection, fueled by a massive fear of abandonment. We have to look at the neurobiology of trauma here. She admitted she was cheated on and deeply hurt. That experience taught her brain the vulnerability equals pain. So when Nick offers genuine affection or asks for intimacy, her amygdala, which is the threat detection center of the brain, fires an alarm. It misidentifies his love as a threat to her actual survival.
So it's almost like an autoimmune response.
Yeah.
Her brain is misidentifying healthy tissue Nick's affection as a foreign virus, so it attacks him to protect the host.
That is a phenomenal analogy, yes. Her cruelty is a preemptive strike. By publicly humiliating him, by rejecting his cuddles, by calling another man hotter, she is ensuring that she rejects him before he ever has the chance to reject her.
Wow.
She is keeping him at a safe distance. If he's always on the defensive, she never has to be vulnerable. When she tells him he lacks confidence, she's projecting her own profound, crippling lack of confidence entirely onto him.
But what about Nick? Because honestly, if someone is throwing emotional dodgeballs at my head, I'm either ducking or I'm throwing one back. Nick is just standing there smiling, letting the balls hit him in the face. Can a relationship survive if one person entirely suppresses their ego like that?
No, it can't. But we have to really understand Nick's motivations here. We know from his background that he is a reality TV veteran. He was on Perfect Match, he was on The Circle, he understands the mechanics of reality television editing better than anyone else at that table.
So you think his reaction isn't actually about being a good husband, it's just about getting a good edit?
Absolutely. He is playing the nice guy role. When he laughs off her insults, it is a self-preservation tactic for his public image. He knows that if he snaps back or shows genuine anger, the producers might edit him as the toxic male. So he absorbs the abuse, compartmentalizes it, and delivers these canned, PR-approved responses about respecting her pace.
But doesn't that just enable her? Because when he said, I don't feel rejected, I actually screamed at my television, you have to feel rejected.
Of course he feels rejected. Suppressing your natural emotional reaction to public humiliation is not healthy, it's performative. The danger here is that the jokes you laugh at today become the resentment you carry tomorrow.
Ooh, say that again?
By failing to set any boundaries, Nick is not creating peace. He is giving her permission to keep abusing him. He is delaying an inevitable, massive explosion.
And Courtney's spiraling just got weirder as the night went on. During the dinner, she goes on this bizarre tangent. She starts claiming that men generally don't have confidence, and then she declares, completely unprompted, that she is not a Me Too kind of woman. The entire table just stared at her in stunned silence. What does that even mean?
It's a massive red flag signaling internalized misogyny and extreme defensiveness.
Explain that to me, because it felt so out of left field. What is she actually trying to signal there?
Well, the Me Too movement is fundamentally about women sharing painful, vulnerable truths about victimization and systemic abuse. It requires immense vulnerability to say, I was hurt. By aggressively rejecting that label, Courtney is trying to signal to the table, and honestly, more importantly to herself, that she is not a victim.
Like she's above it.
Right. She is not weak. She does not need protection. She wants to be perceived as an unaffected, dominant alpha.
But she's literally the most affected person in the room.
Exactly. It's staggering cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance is the mental discomfort you feel when your beliefs contradict your actions. She desperately wants to believe she is this tough, unbothered woman, but her actions, burning her hair off in a panic, lashing out at her husband, prove she is terrified. She's screaming that she is strong to drown out her own internal panic.
It's the old saying, the loudest person in the room is usually the most insecure. And watching Nick just smile through it is painful. But if Nick and Courtney are a one-sided dodgeball game, Nikki and Shawn are a game of mutual thermonuclear destruction. The battle of the egos.
Oh, this was heavy. The context here is so crucial.
Right. The night before this group dinner, Nikki and Shawn went on a double date with Mecca and Beljois, and it was a complete disaster. We didn't see the whole fight on camera, but we know it ended terribly, so the tension is already sky high. And their arrival at the dinner party is straight out of a daytime soap opera.
It was incredibly theatrical.
Nikki arrives completely alone. She lies to the entire group, saying Shawn had a work commitment and will be there later. But the experts behind the glass, and literally everyone at the table, instantly smell blood in the water. They know it's a cover-up. Then, Shawn finally arrives. He walks in, greets every single person at the table, and completely, deliberately ignores his wife.
It was a calculated, passive-aggressive slight meant to punish her publicly.
And once they start talking, the dam breaks. Shawn tries to explain the fight from the night before to the table. He says he told Nikki he just wants to give his wife a soft life and be a light for her and ease her anxiety.
And that word was the detonator.
Boom. Nikki immediately takes offense. She snaps at the table. Were you calling me anxious? I'm bold, confident. I'm not an anxious person. Which, ironically, she yells in a highly anxious, elevated state. And then they start debating a past fight at the airport where Shawn allegedly called her crazy.
The airport fight was very telling.
Nikki tries to defend herself by explaining the physical dynamics. She says she stood up to walk away and de-escalate, towering over him at 5'5" while he was sitting down. But the group reacts horribly to this. They completely miss her point about walking away and accuse her of height-shaming Shawn, who is visibly insecure about his height.
The table completely turned on her. And then Devin, one of the other husbands, tries to intervene. He actually offers great advice, telling them they're both suffering from massive egos and are just matching each other's toxic energy.
And how does Shawn respond? He rudely pulls out his phone right at the dinner table and completely ignores Devin while Devin is speaking directly to him.
A blatant display of intellectual superiority and disrespect.
The climax happens outside. Shawn offers this robotic HR department-style apology saying, "I'm sorry you feel that way." Nikki replies that the flavor of their marriage is fighting. Back at the apartment, Nikki packs a box and demands a physical break, while Shawn begs for friendly conversation. It is exhausting to watch.
It is the perfect storm of mismatched communication styles and weaponized therapy speak. Let's really dissect this because it is a masterclass in what not to do. What we are witnessing is two people who never listen to understand. They solely listen to retaliate.
Listening to retaliate, I love that phrasing. But I have to admit, I actually felt a little bad for Nikki when Shawn called her anxious in front of everyone. Like, Don't diagnose me at a dinner party.
Are you kidding? She completely weaponized that moment. I agree Shawn's tone was awful, but she took zero accountability. When the table asked her what she was doing to fix the conflict, she couldn't name a single thing. She just blamed Shawn. She matches his passive aggression with fiery, overt aggression.
Okay, fair, but the height comment was kind of iconic.
Mhm.
Towering over him at 5'5", that's hilarious.
It wasn't iconic. It was a low blow. She knew exactly what she was doing. You don't bring up a man's height in an argument unless your specific goal is to emasculate him and score points. It was biological warfare.
Okay, you're right. But Shawn isn't innocent here either.
Not at all. Shawn is highly educated. He has his doctorate, and he uses a calm, condescending tone and deeply weaponized therapy speak to intellectually dominate Nikki.
Like saying, I want to ease your anxiety, or I'm sorry you feel that way. That is classic HR speak.
Exactly. He frames himself as the rational, stable base and paints her as the erratic, emotional problem. He intentionally pushes her buttons, like calling her anxious or crazy, knowing her nervous system will react loudly and defensively. He triggers her on purpose so that when the cameras roll, she looks like the crazy one and he looks like the long-suffering, patient husband.
It's so manipulative.
Pulling out his phone while Devin was talking was proof of this ego. He was essentially signaling, I am a doctor, you are an athlete, you cannot tell me anything about my relationship.
It's incredibly arrogant. But it also comes down to this concept of repair languages, right?
Yes. Just like love languages dictate how we want to receive affection, repair languages dictate how our nervous systems need to resolve conflict and regulate after a fight. When we argue, our sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight response, is fully activated. Heart rate goes up, cortisol spikes. To get back to the parasympathetic state, the rest and digest state, we need specific types of repair.
And theirs are completely incompatible.
Exactly. Shawn's repair language requires immediate proximity and resolution. He wants to sit down, have a friendly conversation, and fix it right then so his nervous system can calm down. He literally cannot handle the anxiety of an unresolved issue.
But Nikki is the exact opposite.
Nikki requires space and processing time. When conflict happens, she needs to physically distance herself to regulate her emotions before she can talk rationally. Her nervous system needs silence to reset. So when Shawn demands she stay and talk, he is violating her need for space, which makes her feel trapped and more defensive.
And when Nikki packs her box and leaves, she is violating his need for proximity, which makes him feel abandoned and more anxious.
It's a vicious cycle.
It's like they're trying to run two different operating systems on the same Wi-Fi network, and the whole system just crashes. They are yelling their own language louder and louder, hoping the other person suddenly understands.
And all the while, Shawn is using his vocabulary to ensure Nikki looks like the irrational one on international television. It's a strategic chess match where the goal isn't connection, but making sure you win the argument in the court of public opinion.
Which transitions us perfectly to another form of self-preservation. Shawn and Nikki use intellect to build a wall against each other. But there's another way to build a wall, and that's to physically run away the moment someone actually gets past it. We saw the physiological reality of that flight response with Tori and Felipe.
This was a moment of intense vulnerability, handled very strangely at a dinner table.
Tori announces to the entire group, mostly strangers mind you, that she and Felipe were finally intimate. She proudly states that she was the one who initiated sex. But then, the plot twist. She reveals that immediately afterward she panicked. She said she felt the walls closing in, she felt overexposed, and she literally got out of the bed and went to sleep on the couch.
A visceral, physical flight response.
Completely. And Felipe, to his credit, doesn't get angry. But he confesses to the table that his biggest fear is that this intense physical passion they have right now will inevitably fade, and they will be left with absolutely nothing. He is terrified of losing the spark.
Let's look at Tori first. Psychologically, her behavior is textbook avoidant attachment style. Avoidant individuals crave love, but their early childhood experiences taught them that emotional closeness equates to a loss of independence or a guarantee of future pain. They keep people at arm's length to stay safe.
So when she initiated intimacy, she was trying to push past that.
She was. But the moment true physical and emotional intimacy was achieved, her brain's threat detection system went haywire.
Her brain basically said, "Warning, you are too close. The perimeter has been breached. Abort mission."
Exactly. The vulnerability felt like an existential threat, so her fight-or-flight response triggered, and she chose flight. She physically removed herself from the source of the intimacy, Felipe's bed, and retreated to the safety of the couch to reestablish her physical boundaries and regulate her spiking anxiety.
And what about Felipe? Because part of me feels like, is this just a guy being a guy wanting the honeymoon phase to last forever?
It's much deeper than that. Felipe's background reveals he is a former player, a restaurant manager used to the nightlife and casual hookups. His entire relationship history is built on the initial, intoxicating dopamine hits of a new conquest. He is literally chemically addicted to the thrill of the chase and the early passion.
So he equates the dopamine spike with actual love.
Yes, he is experiencing the exact flip side of Tori's anxiety. He is terrified that a relationship built purely on early dopamine spikes cannot sustain long-term commitment. He knows his own track record. When the spark fades in normal dating, he runs. Now that he is legally married, he is realizing that if they don't build a deeper emotional foundation, which Tori is currently running away from, he won't have the tools to stay when the biological high wears off.
That is a terrifying realization to have while eating a dinner party salad. Like, I only know how to be in love for 3 weeks, and my wife just ran away to the couch.
The experts noted that Felipe's honesty about this fear is actually a massive step forward for his emotional maturity. He is recognizing his pattern, but it requires Tori to stop running for them to build anything real.
Speaking of couples struggling with intimacy, we have to talk about Mecca and Belashoy, or as I like to call it, the absolute tragedy of the friend zone.
This was painful, truly hard to watch.
The context here is brutal. On their honeymoon, Mecca literally told Belashoy that she was way more attracted to him than he was to her. He put percentages on it. He told his new wife that she was at 150% and he was at 80%.
A fundamentally cruel and unnecessary metric to share. What is the point of saying that?
Obviously, Belashoy, who is a rational human being with self-respect, immediately pulled back all her physical affection. Fast forward to the dinner, Mecca realizes he messed up because now he's not getting any kisses. So he tries to be vulnerable. He claims he is loving their emotional connection, that she is the female version of him, and that she has unlocked a side of him he didn't know existed.
It sounds beautiful, a real breakthrough.
It does, until he instantly ruins it. In a room full of men, he suddenly pivots and jokes that he only actually liked her after he saw her wagon, referring to her backside. He completely undercuts his own emotional vulnerability by objectifying his wife for a cheap laugh from the boys.
This is where we see the performance of toxic masculinity in real time. Dr. Lisa called it out immediately from behind the glass.
Why did he do that? He was doing so well.
Mecca is struggling with profound abandonment issues and insecurities tied to his family history. When he starts getting genuinely emotionally vulnerable with Belashoy at the table, he starts to feel exposed. He is in a room full of other men, and traditional masculinity dictates that emotional vulnerability is a weakness.
So he panicked.
He panicked. He got uncomfortable with his own softness. So, to regain his footing and secure male validation from the other husbands, he reverted to locker room talk. He reduced his deep emotional connection with his wife to an appreciation of her physical assets. By posturing for the men, he betrayed his wife's trust and destroyed the safe space she was tentatively trying to rebuild.
It's so frustrating. Belashoy is the only person acting completely rationally here. She was told she liked him too much, so she backed off. But how do you recover when your partner publicly friend zones you with percentages, and then when they try to fix it, they just reduce your entire connection to your physical body in front of strangers?
It's incredibly difficult. Belashoy is executing a textbook self-protection strategy. Trust is a bank account. Mecca's 150% versus 80% comment was a massive withdrawal. His wagon comment was another withdrawal. He is financially bankrupt in the trust department.
He caused a literal bank run. Belashoy lost faith in the institution of their marriage, and now she's withdrawing all her emotional funds to protect herself. And Mecca trying to deposit a wagon joke is like trying to fix a bank run with Monopoly money?
Exactly. A perfect extension of the analogy. He has to consistently make deposits over a long period of time without expecting immediate physical intimacy in return. But Mecca is impatient. He wants the kisses back now. He doesn't understand that his words caused a rupture that requires sustained, patient repair.
It's like he broke a vase and is mad that she isn't putting flowers in it while he's still holding the glue.
And until he stops performing for the other men and starts focusing entirely on the emotional safety of his wife, that vase is going to stay broken.
Okay, we've talked about a lot of dysfunction. But believe it or not, this dinner party wasn't entirely a disaster. We had some unexpected voices of reason. Let's talk about Devin and Caitlin. If you remember their honeymoon, Devin came on way too strong, and Caitlin was an absolute ice queen. But at this dinner, Devin gives an incredibly self-aware speech.
It was a remarkably astute self-reflection. I was shocked.
Me too. He admits to the group that he came into the marriage entirely too hot. He expected Caitlin to immediately fit into his perfect, preconceived image of a wife. He powerfully states, "I cannonballed into a frozen lake." And Caitlin actually acknowledges his effort. She recognizes that he took a step back, and she is visibly warming up to him. She just asks him to notice the small acts of service she does, like getting him a towel because he sweats a lot.
What we are seeing with Devin is a genuine emotional breakthrough, facilitated by the experts. Devin is a former professional rugby player. His entire life, his dynamic with women has likely involved them fawning over him. He is used to instant gratification.
Right, he's used to getting his way.
When he met Caitlin, she didn't do that. She put up boundaries. Initially, his ego couldn't handle it. But after speaking with Dr. Lisa, Devin did the hardest thing a person can do. He turned the mirror on himself.
He looked at his own entitlement.
Yes. He realized he was treating marriage like a solo sport where Caitlin was just a prop. By publicly taking accountability for his aggressive start, by admitting he cannonballed, he validated Caitlin's experience. He told her, "You weren't crazy to be cold, I was too much."
And that validation creates safety. The moment Devin dropped his entitlement, he created the psychological safe space Caitlin needed to begin to thaw out. Her asking him to notice the towel is her showing him her love language acts of service.
Yeah.
She is saying, "I am loving you, you just need to learn how to read my language."
But we have to be cautious here. Devin gave a beautifully articulate speech. It was great television. But there's a crucial difference between insight and integration. Insight is knowing you have a problem. Integration is actually changing your behavior because of that insight.
Right. We all know someone who goes to therapy, learns the vocabulary, and can beautifully articulate their own toxic flaws, but they never actually change. Is Devin just talking the talk?
That is the real test. Devin has achieved insight. But the next time he feels rejected by Caitlin, does he revert to demanding attention or does he self-soothe and give her grace? His intervention with Shawn and Nikki later in the evening showed he can apply these concepts externally to others, but time will tell if he can consistently apply them internally.
We will definitely be watching. And briefly, we have to mention Michelle and Cameron. They are the couple quietly sitting in the corner, eating their dinner, having a seemingly normal time.
The baseline for sanity at the table.
Right. Michelle voices some anxiety, but it's completely practical. She's worried about Cameron's complete lack of relationship history and how that will affect their logistical and financial planning for the future.
Which proves a fundamental rule of reality television and relationships. Boring television often equates to a highly functional, healthy relationship. While Courtney is burning her hair and Nikki is packing boxes, Michelle and Cameron are basically arguing about an Excel spreadsheet.
They aren't fighting about deep-seated trauma or ego. They are negotiating the practical realities of merging two adult lives. It's exactly what you want a marriage to look like at week 3. Okay, babes, it is time for our favorite part of the recap. Let's get into the segments. Segment 1, Marriage Report Card. Let's give these couples a quick grade for communication, chemistry, effort, emotional maturity, and long-term potential.
I'll start with Adam and Marissa. Communication, F. They aren't having any. Chemistry, B. They like looking at each other. Effort, D. Emotional maturity, F. Long-term potential, literally 0.
Brutal but fair. Courtney and Nick. Communication, F-. Chemistry, F. Effort, F for her, C for him playing the game. Emotional maturity, non-existent. Long-term potential, if they stay together, someone is going to end up needing intensive therapy.
Nikki and Shawn. Communication, D, because they use words, just weaponized ones. Chemistry, C. Effort, D. They are trying to win, not connect. Emotional maturity, F. Long-term potential, a permanent revolving door of misery.
Tori and Felipe. Communication, C. Chemistry, A. Effort, B. Emotional maturity, C. Long-term potential, if they get over their avoidant anxious trap, maybe a B.
Becca and Bellajoy. Communication, D. Chemistry, F. Currently. Effort, D. Emotional maturity, D. Long-term potential, low, unless he learns to validate her without needing male approval.
Devin and Caitlin. Communication, B+. Chemistry, C, but growing. Effort, A. Emotional maturity, A. Long-term potential, A. I have high hopes. And Michelle and Cameron get straight A's across the board for being appropriately boring.
Moving on to segment 2, Couples Therapy Corner. What is our brutally honest advice if these were our friends?
For Adam and Marissa, my advice is stop eating grilled cheese and ask him what his credit score is immediately.
For Courtney and Nick. Courtney, you need trauma therapy to address your fear of abandonment before you try to partner with anyone. Nick, stop laughing when you were bleeding. Set a boundary.
For Nikki and Shawn, You both need to go to separate rooms for an hour after a fight. Shawn, stop diagnosing your wife. Nikki, stop acting like you are perfect.
For Tori and Felipe, Tori, the couch is not your husband. Stay in the bed and feel the anxiety until it passes. Felipe, find a hobby that gives you dopamine so you stop relying on the honeymoon phase for a high.
For Mecca and Beljoy. Mecca, stop talking about her body to other men, period.
Segment 3, red flag, green flag, or just hungry. I'll give you a moment. You tell me which it is. Adam's floral romper with the tags on.
Massive red flag. It screams, I am going to return this outfit tomorrow because I can't afford it, but I want to look rich on TV.
Courtney burning her hair.
Honestly, just hungry and highly dysregulated. She needed a snack and a deep breath before that conversation.
Shawn pulling his phone out while Devin was giving him advice.
Neon flashing red flag.
Yeah.
Disrespectful to his core.
Devin saying he cannonballed into a frozen lake.
Green flag. Accountability is so sexy.
Final segment, decision day delusions. Let's predict the future.
Couple with the best chance, Devin and Caitlin. I think the ice is melting.
Couple heading for disaster, Courtney and Nick. It's unsustainable.
Biggest surprise relationship, I think Tori and Felipe might actually figure it out when she stops running to the couch.
And one completely ridiculous prediction. I predict Adam tries to sell that shed as a luxury Airbnb by the end of the season.
I can absolutely see that happening. Okay, babes, we have covered a massive amount of psychological ground today. But as we wrap up, I want to leave you with one final provocative thought. We mentioned at the top that the experts were watching this entire dinner through a two-way mirror. The cameras were rolling on every sigh, every eye roll, every cruel comment.
The subjects were highly aware they were being observed.
Exactly. In psychology, there's a concept called the Hawthorne effect. It's the phenomenon where subjects of a study alter their behavior simply because they know they are being watched.
It changes the entire dynamic of the experiment.
It does. So, mull this over, Snark Squad. If the relationship experts were not behind that two-way mirror, if the camera crews packed up their gear, turned off the lights and went home, how many of these couples would have already packed their bags? Does the immense pressure of being watched on international television fundamentally alter who we love, how long we stay, and how viciously we fight? Or does it just amplify the dysfunction that was already there?
It's the ultimate reality television paradox.
So, Snark Squad, I have questions for you. Have you ever attended a dinner party that made you question your entire financial situation? Which zodiac sign's weekend horoscope felt the most aggressively accurate to you? And which married at first sight couple are you somehow still rooting for despite the red flags? Let us know. Stay hopeful, stay cozy, and we'll see you on the Snark Side.